explicit credit to the partnership that they are having with the United States of America as the thing that makes extraordinary things very, 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 very possible. Yes, that is what Netanyahu is talking about. So if we look at it from the Biafra perspective, because the US-Israel model is exactly the model that the Biafra freedom movement must be building towards, and the Biafra Republic government in exile understand this very, very well. You know, the United States and Israel became strategic allies, not because America woke up one day and decided Israel was important. No, that's not it. They became allies through decades of political work, through lobbying, through diaspora engagement, and would I say congressional relationship, and the shared intelligence framework, and they also strategic interest, because geopolitics is all about strategy, diplomatic relations is all about strategies and interest. You know, so the relationship was built patiently, piece by piece, in Washington, D.C., in congressional offices, at the State Department desk, and the think tank briefing rooms and all that. Now look at where our Biafra Republic government in exile is operating. Congressional briefing at the Common House office building. Are we there? The answer is yes. Meeting with senators on the Foreign Relations Committee? Yes. FARA registration with the Department of Justice? Yes. Congressional testimony? Yes. Lobbying disclosure that puts Brigade advocacy on the public record of the United States government? Yes. So they are building the same road. It is not the same distance along the road as the US-Israel relationship. No. But Biafra Republic government, we are on the right road. And Biafra Republic government in exile is the only Biafran entity on that road as I speak right now. Not a BCGG or DPM or whatever they call themselves. We are the only legitimate government on that road. No other. You see, Israel march in October 7, we Biafran march on 12th March 2026 in solidarity across the Biafran territory. So that march matters a lot. And some other people are still planning to still continue with the march. That march we made on that day, people thought that we are just doing it like a fanfare. No. It says a lot of who we are. We are beginning to build that relationship that Israel has been building with US for a very long time. That march informed Israel and passed a message to them and America that we are here. We are unified. We see what is being done to you, and we will not be silent. But marches alone do not build the partnership that Netanyahu described here. It doesn't. The march is the visible face of a movement. The congressional briefings are its engine. So we need both. We need to march and we need to continue with our congressional briefing. That is where me and you have to come in with your J and your Gemma, so that we keep on paying our lobbies, all the diplomatic meetings and whatever the government is doing diplomatically. Funding is required. So only marching, waving the flag is not enough. It will never be enough. So the Biafra Republic government is doing in Washington, D.C., what they are doing is showing the world that Biafrans are not just watching, that we are engaging the most powerful legislative body on earth to act. This man also made another point. Yes, he made another point. He said, and he made this point and making reference to what happened in 1985. You know, because it has a connection with this Netanyahu speech, what happened in 1985. The biggest geopolitical opportunity in the Biafran freedom movement history. And I want to explain it carefully because it requires some historical context here. And we call that the Regent Doctrine and Africa. And that moment has returned. If you go to the social media, you will see that people are beginning to leverage on this, beginning to call it up. I wanted to organize a space on this single-handedly, but I decided to bring it in here because it has some connection to what Netanyahu said. In 1985, there was a president called President Ronald Reagan. He gave one of the most consequential foreign policy speeches in American history. And he stood up in the Congress and announced what became as a Reagan doctrine. And I want to quote his word. He said, "We must not break faith with those who are risking their lives. On every continent, from Afghanistan to Nicaragua, to defy Soviet-supported aggression and secure rights which have been ours from birth. Support for freedom fighters is self-defense." Now, what did that mean in practice? It meant that the United States government did one thing, and what they did was committed to supporting, after supporting, funding, training, and arming freedom movements anywhere in the world that were resisting governments aligned with American adversaries. That was what the United States of America did. So in Africa specifically, this region doctrine meant direct support for UNITA, that is a National Union for the Total Independence of Angola, which was fighting the Soviet-backed MPLA government in Angola. Now, the Heritage Foundation published in 1985 report specifically arguing that this UNITA now deserve America backing under this, what they call now, Reagan Doctrine, because they were genuine freedom fighters resisting communist aggression. Now, the Reagan Doctrine funded in Afghanistan. It funded contrast in Nicaragua. It funded this UNITA in Angola. And while historians debate the long-term consequences of this decision, the strategic logic was very clear. America would not stand by while groups claiming to fight for freedom were abandoned to Soviet-aligned adversaries. Now, the Cold War ended and the Reagan Doctrine faded away. And for 40 years, America's African policy drifted. They focus on aid, they focus on development, and the anti-terrorism cooperation with whatever government was in power, regardless of whether those governments were serving their people or not. But something is now shifting. That is where we are coming in. Something is now shifting in 2025 and 2026. People who are close to Trump administration, people in the American Security and Council Foundation, in a conservative foreign policy circle, in evangelical and Christian advocacy network, are now calling explicitly for the revival of that Reagan Doctrine. You know what I said about the Reagan Doctrine? America was doing what that time? They were supporting, they were funding, they were training and also arming freedom movements anywhere in the world. Now, all these people surrounding the Trump administration now have called on Trump. Do you understand what I mean now? So they are calling for the revival of that Reagan Doctrine that United States supported, funded, trained, equipped all the freedom fighters. They are telling him, Oga, it's like you now have to revive that doctrine. Not for the Cold War, for today's world where the adversaries are not the Soviet Union again. We have new adversary now. We have the China, we have the Russia, we have the Iran, we have the Turkey, and the terror network they sponsored and sustained. I don't know if you are still hearing me. We never start space here too. We are buying time for people to join. So that is what is happening now. The clock has changed. You know, it has turned the other way around. He said, Donald Trump, you have to start looking at this because we have a lot of freedom fighters. And guess what? Whom do you think they are going to look at in Biafra land? It is our Biafra Defense Forces and any other subgroup that may need to come up, put themselves to. Remember, Netanyahu said, according to Will, that it is not about being right. No, it is about being organized. It is about being ready. It is about having legal entity. Only saying we have the right cannot give you freedom. And if you look at the Biafra Republic government in exile, do we have the characteristics of all these that Will said? The answer is yes. So the American Security Council Foundation published this article directly. He said, we must start with the free world enemies. Freedom must be armed, better than tyranny. Support for freedom fighters is self-defense and is tied to our own security. It is not Briggy that wrote this one, but it is telling you the extent our diplomatic engagement has reached. And all you need to do is to support the Biafra Republic government in exile, because they are doing what? Exceptionally and effectively well. Did you hear that? So if you connect this to Nigeria, so the American Security Council Foundation published this argument and they made this declaration. Now, if you connect this to Nigeria, Nigeria is a BRIC partner country, sitting in a block with Russia, China, Cuba, and all of them. And the US has designated Nigeria as a CPC. You see? Where Alimol led them to understand that time in 2025 that 7,000 Christians were killed in 2025 alone. And the group lobbying closer to Donald Trump evangelical and conservative base, the very network that could, activate this region doctrine revival in Africa, they're already discussing Nigeria. So they are discussing the framing that a pro-US administration in Biafra Southeast region, which is a region, would better serve American interest than the current Nigerian government that is sitting in BRICS with Russia. Do you get what I am saying? All we need to do is a little push. Biafra Republic government in exile has gone far. This is why Ejima called the criminal lobby. And in fact, Onyendu sacked them. They have now become the mouthpiece of the Nigerian terrorists. This is the reason why they are so afraid to mention the Biafra Republic government in exile, because they know the extent that we have gone. This is the reason why he will always put in the street, Ndi Igbo, Ndi Igbo, Ndi Igbo. He cannot mention Biafra. So imagine all these people now whispering into the ears of Donald Trump and said, it is time for you to reactivate the Reagan doctrine, because you can deal professionally with the Biafran Republic government in exile better than dealing with the Nigerian terrorist government that have already aligned themselves with UK, a terrorist country, with BRICS. All of them are supporting terrorism. So come and align yourself with the Biafra Republic government in exile. So this is the Reagan doctrine argument being made in Washington, D.C. right now as I'm speaking. Not as history, but as active policy advocacy. It is happening. All you need to do is to support. Reagan said support for freedom fighters is self-defense. Yes, it is self-defense. And in 2026, with Nigeria in BRICS, with Russia and Chinese influence expanding across the Sahel, with this terrorist Nigerian government who just came back from UK, aligned with Iran's orbit while Christians are massacred, the strategic argument for a Reagan doctrine approach to Biafra is not a crazy one. We are ready, we have the structure, we have everything it takes. We are not just claiming rights. You see? So Netanyahu put it exactly right when he said, the democracies led by the United States have to reassert their will to defend themselves and to oppose their enemies in time while there is still time. Go back and listen to his speech. Before the jarring gun of danger wakes them up, and wakes them up too late. That is what Netanyahu said in that speech. So I'm connecting it to what is happening right now in Washington, D.C. with Reagan policy for you to understand the extent that we have reached. So this is the argument Biafra Republic government is making in Washington, D.C. Not a DPM or DO, what? Oh, God of mercy. Not POS, not the other one. I can't even remember their names. BBG, NPC, and all that. No. This is the argument that put Biafra on the right side of the geopolitical map that President Trump and his administration are drawing right now. BRICS and Iran and Russia are on one side. US-aligned freedom movement on the other side. So Nigeria choose BRICS while we choose the Washington, D.C. That's it. We have no other place to choose than Washington, D.C. So while on that March 2026, just few 8 days before today, we march for the world to see. We march across the Biafran territory in solidarity with the struggle, in solidarity with the principles. I hope you can. Sorry, a call came in and wanted to distract me. So that was what we did, in solidarity with Israel's right to defend itself. Because Biafrans, we understand very well what it means to be a people who are told their lives do not matter. We know. We know what it means because we have, survived the war for how many years? The war is still going on. So that march that we did matters for a lot of reasons. It is evidence of popular unity. We are unified with the Israel. We are unified with the United States of America. And it demonstrates what Netanyahu described when he said, the Israeli people are standing strong. You cannot build an internationally recognized freedom movement on the advocacy of leaders alone. The people must be visible, and they have seen us publicly, peacefully standing. So that march we did was Biafra standing tall. That was what we did. And we will continue to stand. That march happened while Tinubu government was preparing for Windsor Castle. We were rolling. While Britain was there rolling out the royal carriage that they will use to carry the terrorist Tinubu. Biafrans were there giving support to the Israeli people and the United States of America. Go back and listen to what he said. He said, I am very proud of the fact that the Israeli people are standing strong, that the Israeli army is standing strong. We rose from October 7, our people, our soldiers rose like lion. That is the statement that Netanyahu said. And we Biafra rose from 1967 to 1970. From the blockade, from the starvation, from the no victor, no vanquished settlement that left our region without reparation, from the deliberate fragmentation of Biafran territory to reduce its political power. Biafrans rose from all of that. And we are still rising. We are still marching. We are still in congressional offices in Washington, D.C. We are still building that legal architecture of a government in exile. And our brother Netanyahu said his partnership with America is how Israel does amazing things. So Biafra Republic government partnership with Washington being built right now, piece by piece, in congressional offices, through FARA registration and senator meetings, is how Biafra will do its amazing things. And that amazing things will be freedom. You see, I don't know how many people we have in the space if we can start the space. So that is what happened. Biafra is not fighting a small war. No. Biafra is fighting the same war that Israel is fighting. The same war that Netanyahu described. The war between a people who decide to govern themselves and the forces, political, military, that want to keep them subjugated. That is the war that we are fighting. Because Netanyahu ended his press conference with 3 words. He said his army rose like lions from October 7th. And he said Israel is protecting not just itself, but the entire world when it fights the forces that want to destroy democratic societies. And he's absolutely correct. So while Nigeria is with BRICS, with China, with Russia, and all of them, we are here with the Western region. We are here with Israel. We are here with the US. You see where we are? So if anybody tells you that there is nothing like Biafra Republic government in exile, tell them they should go and check our website and see things for themselves. We are registered. And Reagan support freedom fighters. Netanyahu says in partnership with America, amazing things are possible. And we, Biafra, we are building that partnership. So nothing can make us to back down. It is not possible. So welcome, my people. I think we have increased in number. I just wanted to use that to prepare the minds of our listeners while waiting for people to join the space, that it is no more a child's play, the extent that we have reached, and all that Benjamin Netanyahu said today is a replica of what is happening in our freedom. There is nothing different. So I will yield my mic here for my co-host to greet the house before we start the space. So welcome, Emeka and senior citizen Stella. And everyone that joined, welcome once again. Welcome, welcome. Toti, are you there? Before we start the space. Okay, he's not close to his mic. He's in the other room. Is there anybody that wants to say anything to? And okay, you are there. Yeah, if your place is noisy, no problem. Do you have anything to support what Israeli Prime Minister said before we start the space? Can you hear me? Can anybody hear me? Okay. All right. So we are about to start the space now. Thank you so much. We are about to start the space now, and I welcome each and every one of you. Welcome to Briggy Space. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Please, you can send your, if you have made pledge for the space donation, kindly send your receipt to me. Tomorrow is our fundraising. I will only announce those that have given me their receipt. Yeah, so that the account will tally. Oh, okay. So please endeavor to send me your receipt. Whatever you have. You heard what Netanyahu said. Don't claim rights when you have not done what you are supposed to do. We have a lot to do for our freedom. I've done that, my co-host Toti. I've done that. Onye, I don't know if you are free. My co-host, I've done that. Okay, you are there. Okay, so greet the house before we start the space. Ekamdo.
Yeah, Tutos, am I coming out now?
Yes, yes, you are. Welcome.
Oh, thank you very much. I've been battling with Elon and his voice, you know. They keep attacking my hand, but I don't know what I did to these people. Please, they should leave me alone. I'm only fighting for my freedom, and everyone here that is speaking on Brady Space is also fighting for his or her freedom. And I believe it's our right to speak for ourselves. Since the world have refused to speak for us. So we are speaking for ourselves. So they should allow us, they should give us that space and allow us to speak our truth. Yeah, thank you very much, Tutos, for hosting us here today. Although, you know, when I answered your question, I just made a brief greetings to every one of us here. But let me just please pardon me, Tutos. Just give me like 2 minutes. I know, say, they say I dey talk too much, but please. Yeah, I want to specially recognize our leaders, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, and also our first Prime Minister, Mazi Simon Ekpa. We all know where they are today, and then they are part of the reason why we as a people are still preaching and propagating the gospel for the freedom of the Biafran people. And I also want to appreciate our active Prime Minister, His Excellency Mazi Oge Chukwuemeka, for all his wonderful works that he's doing for the Biafran people. And I also want to appreciate all the ministers in the space, and I also the honorable members in the space. Mazi Emeka, greetings to you. Um, Mazi Onyenyere, yeah, greetings to you. Our lovely Sister Iwu, it's time for you to hand over. You understand? You have hold that position for so long. We expect you to be coming up to the mic now. We know that you're busy, but please, from time to time, we would like to also hear your voice as well because you are very, very, very much important in what we are doing. Likewise, every one of us here, we all are very, very much important, and the space is always open for every one of us to come up and air our views. You understand? Every idea is very, very much important at this point in time. It doesn't matter the language that you want to use to, tell the world our truth. If it's something that needs to be interpreted, it will be interpreted. You understand? To the international community, you can come up here. We have even broken English that we can be able to use to also communicate to the international community as well. Also, I want to appreciate all the supporters of the Biafran Republic government in exile and every one of us that have been putting in our funds in making sure that the gospel of the Biafran people did not, go into oblivion because that is what the enemies of Biafrans have been, fighting so hard to achieve. But the Biafran Republic government in Nigeria have been able to, stand their ground because they are built on solid rock. And I also want to thank every one of us here once more. We should keep doing what we are doing, and I promise every one of us that at the end of the day, Biafra will be achieved because we all are seeing the effort that the Biafran Republic government in exile have put so far and continue to put in Washington, D.C. That is what is making the Nigerian terrorist governments to be running all over the places looking for a soft landing, how they can be able to escape this diplomatic war they started with the Biafran people because for so many years and for so many decades, they have been going out there to tell the international community that we, the Biafran people that have been speaking and fighting against the Christian genocide that has been happening in Nigeria for decades, they always go out there to tell the international community that we are the problem. But that stopped immediately. The Biafran Republic government in exile come into purpose. And now they are running helter-skelter looking for a soft landing. But for them not to have soft landing also depends in our hands. We are the people that have put them on their toes, and we are the people that will still make sure that they did not get a soft landing regarding the Christian genocide. Because this Christian genocide is the reason why they went all the way to Kenya to kidnap our supreme leader and extraordinarily rendition him from Kenya to Nigeria. And not only that, they kept him for more than 5 years in DSS dungeon, and finally they unjustly imprisoned him to life in Sokoto prison today. And the same reason of this Christian genocide is the same reason they went to, to Finland and did what they did there. And then the Finland government fell for their lies, fell for their gimmicks, or for their own selfish interests. And today, our first prime minister is in prison in Finland, serving a 6-year jail term. And then the Biafran Republic government in exile have stepped in to correct all those fallacies, all those false narratives that the Nigerian terrorist government have been pushing out there for them to continue killing us with impunity, killing our women and children. And if you all see what is happening back home now, yesterday they threw a bomb somewhere in Biafra land and destroyed home, but for God so kind, nobody lost their life, according to the reports that came out from there. And that is how they have been burning and bombing the Biafran people for decades and centuries from now. So we should always, try and make sure that the Nigerian terrorist government doesn't get a soft landing at this point in time because it's the last battle between we and them. And that is why we always come up here on Briggy Spaces to encourage every one of us to be focused and please do more as we continue to fight for our freedom. So thank you very much, and to those, I use my mind. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Thank you, our professor. Yeah. I hope that background that we laid really makes sense to our people to understand that we are not alone. So please share the space as you joined. God bless you as you do that, and support your freedom. Visit our website www.biafrarepublicgovernment.org. That's who we are, and that is our website. We are not dragging with anyone. It's our property, and it's the only legitimate government that is on that road that Benjamin Netanyahu is talking about. No other, not even a group, because that road is not even suitable for groups or committee. No, it's only for a government. So now we want to start the space. Yes. And I want you to hold two images in your mind at exactly the same time. One of it is what happened on the Monday evening. Eh, eh. My screen went to blank. Oh my God. Yeah, what happened on Monday evening, which was, I think, March 16, 2026, in Meduguri. You know, then it was Ramadan and the holiest time of the year for millions of Muslims. And we saw people in the market. Just visualize yourself buying food to break their fast. We saw mothers, we saw traders. Just visualize children, going there, and three bombs go off almost simultaneously. One of it at the gate of the University Teaching Hospital in Maiduguri, and then two inside the crowded market. So they were targeting civilians, and they also know that people will go by that time to buy things to break their fast. And according to the report, which we believe there are more than this, 23 people were killed instantly, and 180 people were turned open. Their limbs, their sight, their lives changed forever. There was no warning, unlike this one that this group has come out now to give a warning that another attack is going to happen very soon in Taraba, and precisely 23rd of March. We played the video before we started the space. So this one, there was no warning. So 1 second you are alive and going about your evening, the next seconds you are on the floor as a dead person. That is the image one I want us to look at. And then let's look at the second image here. Tuesday morning, Windsor Castle, England. We are going to look at that. Let's look at the image of a horse-drawn royal carriage move slowly through the ground. Let's have the image of military band playing and a red carpet that was laid, 160 guests in black tie and evening gowns inside St. George Halls. At the banquet table, we saw King Charles III of England sit beside the terrorist president of Nigeria, Tinubu, who was busy smiling. And just imagine his minister as well, Minister of Defense Musa, in that same hall. Visualize, because not even to visualize, I said image. Yeah, it's also visualizing things. Ribadu in that same hall as a delegation as well, and the 7 governors who were attending the event with 11 ministers, they all left Nigeria to be there. So those two images are separated by 24 hours. Was it even up to 24? Let's say 20 hours. Not days, oh, not weeks, 20 hours. Let me put it 20 hours. So welcome once again. My name is Tutos as your host. We finished the first part. We are now into the space topic properly. So we are going to understand, with the help of other speakers, every single thing that happened this week in Windsor Castle. We are going to look at the King's speech word by word, every agreement that was signed, and what it really means with the Chatham House. As I said, Chatham House article is the bedrock of our discussion this night, because they are the ones that have digged out and started criticizing the Nigerian government. And we know that Chatham House is the Britain's most prestigious think tank. Yeah. So we are going to look at what they said about the same government they were celebrating. The colonial history underneath all of it, the freedom fighting principles. We are going to build on all that this evening, and what is happening in Washington, D.C. right now, which we have already touched light in the beginning using the speech of Benjamin Netanyahu to lay the foundation, so that people will know that we are not playing. I really love that man's speech and how it relates to our struggle. So if you are just joining the space, you can listen to that section when we end. The choice is yours. Please share the space as you are joining. Oh, we can see our original CEO is in the house. Welcome, sir. We appreciate you. And Minister Ben, welcome. We appreciate your presence as well. Thank you so much. So that is what we'll be talking about this night. Now, let's start with how state visit actually work. We are going to look at who a king is and who a prime minister is, because that will make us to understand how things work in the theater and when we are not in the theater. Okay, so later on, like our minister here, Ben, if I miss out anything, this is UK. Please feel free to fill it up for us, UK Deputy Minister is here, and this event took place in the UK. I hope you are there. Don't come and tell me you were in the other room as we are talking. So let's get started. Now, according to research, a British state visit has two completely distinct parts, and they serve different purposes. It also involves different people, and it also produces different outcomes. You see? So two distinct parts, serving different purposes, involving different people, meaning the crowd that you invite or the dignitaries that you invite, and then the outcome will be automatically different. So let's look at the first part. In the first part, we see the king. And this is the Windsor Castle, the carriage procession, and the military salute, the 160 guests in St. George Hall, the state banquet, and all that. So this is the ceremonial layer of the visit. Okay? And the king is Britain's head of state. Please, if I make mistake, okay, Mama Betty has also joined. Oh my God, thank you. Thank you. All the UK national, Biafra UK citizen, please, anywhere I make mistake, feel free to correct me. Oh, I'm not there. Now, they say that the king is Britain's head of state. But in the UK constitutional system, he has no executive power. So he does not make policy. He does not sign trade deals, and he does not negotiate defense contracts. So what the king does is send a signal out there. So when King Charles stands beside a foreign president in a royal carriage at Windsor Castle, he's just saying to the world, oh, Britain sees this leader as a legitimate person, but unfortunately he's calling a criminal and a drug lord and a terrorist legitimate. So Britain honors this person with that's the message he's sending, with our highest diplomatic ceremony. We endorse their presence, and the ceremony is the message. So in the case of Nigeria, they are celebrating a terrorist, they are celebrating a criminal. All of them that follow them, they are all criminal and terrorists. So Britain is now coming out openly to say, oh, we We recognize this terrorist government because we colonized them and they're doing exactly what we expected from them to do. We gave them the template, and for more than 54 years, they are following the template. That is what King Charles did. Now, we look at the part two. In the part two, we have the Prime Minister at 10 Downing Street. And this is where the actual work happens, which happened on Wednesday. No, Thursday, yesterday, 19. 18 was the with the king. Now, on Thursday, we saw the after banquet. We saw Tinubu that arrived at that famous black door. I was watching it. Called 10 Downing Street, and I saw the way he was shaking hand with the Prime Minister on the step, and the way he was walking. Hey, he was walking as if maggots were in his feet. You know, my people used to say, and then no, the man was counting his steps, say, what happened in Turkey will not repeat itself in this UK. And if you see the way Stammer was looking at him, had it been Tinubu fell down, hey, this one he will somersault, no help. Because Tama was not even close by. The distance was so far. He was watching to see, let me see if this man will stumble and fall as he did in Turkey. No helping hand. But you see the way Tinubu was walking very slow, binding and casting in his mind. Oluwa, Oluwa, ṣàánú fún mi o. Let me not fall down here. Guide me. Let me just stretch out my hand and shake this man. Let him give me support. That was what he was doing. So he took that step and he went to Stammer. Hey, they went inside, and behind those closed doors, without cameras, without military band, without the Afrobeat playing that they love so much, the real bilateral business was conducted inside that room. So this is where trade framework happened, where the Defense Cooperation Committee, a commitment were formalized, and the 746 million pounds port deal was witnessed and confirmed. In that same place was where immigration policy was discussed, and also in that same place was where the security agreement were turned into commitment. So that is the lesson we have to absorb, and we differentiate between these two people. So the king made Tinubu feel very important, while the prime minister made Tinubu sign documents. So those two things happen. You see, different people, different audience, different outcome, different room. You see, so that is what happened. So one is the theater and the other is business. And the documents signed at Downing Street are what Nigerians will live with for the next decade. Nothing will change it. Yes, nothing will change it. So we are now going to look at what was actually signed. What was actually signed? Because you can only hear it from Briggy Space. Nigerian media will not tell you this one. They can never. So we are going to, they only tell you the surface. They are busy shouting out Tinubu saying that they should bring back criminals. They are bringing back those that have overstayed, those that don't have documentation to remain in the UK. You are illegal. You have to go back to your country. That's what it means. They don't want people to hang around. There is nothing bad in that. Go back to your country. It is happening everywhere. You could see that they're not even projecting the part that these two people refuse to talk about the genocide happening in Nigeria, because they know very well that those that have undocumented, those that are undocumented in UK are the Yorubas. So that is why they are afraid and they're attacking Tinubu. They have to go back home. They are the criminals. They have to go back home. They are the asylum seekers. They have to go back home. Go and work in the country that you are supporting Tinubu. If Tinubu is that good, go and sing on your mandate in Nigeria. Continue to stand on that mandate. I don't know, before I go into what was signed, if I've made any mistake in categorizing and explaining the function of these two people, the theater and the official office of the prime minister. Did I mix up anything? UK mmadụ. UK mmadụ. Any mistake, please, before we continue? To differentiate between the prime minister and the king and their responsibilities. Any mistake? Those in the UK, are you in the other room? Okay, thank you. So I should go ahead. You know, I have to be assisted. I don't want to pass wrong information. Thank you, Minister Ben. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So, what was signed? That is what we want to look at. What was signed and what does it mean to you and me? Thank you. Oh, Augustina, you're also there. Whoa, thank you. Thank you. Anywhere I make mistake, you let us know. Just raise up your hand and I will pause and get the correction because we are all here to learn. So let's take it one by one. We are not going to look at all. We are going to look at two, three agreements that were signed in that place. That is what we are going to look at. After the agreement, we'll pass the mic and we have a discussion on it. So I'm going to start with the agreement that got the most attention, the one that the Nigerian government celebrated the most because they are mumu, which is a £746 million port financing deal between UK Export Finance, the Nigerian Port Authority, and the Federal Ministry of Finance. And I want to correct the framing that the Nigerian government is using. That's the first thing I want to do because they are calling this British, this signing of this money that they signed, they are calling it British investment. It is not an investment. It is never and it will not and it will never be an investment. That is the frame that they've given out in the public. When someone invests in your business, they take a risk alongside you, right? If you have business people, please, you can pick up the mic and tell us what it means to be an investor. And when you invest in a business, they take a risk alongside with you in that business. So if the business succeeds, they benefit. If it fails, they lose their money as well. So they have skin in the game. What UK Export Finance does is something completely different. Completely different. UK Export Finance is the British government export credit agency. Its entire purpose, written in its mandate, is to support British companies exporting goods and services abroad by guaranteeing the financing. So when the Nigerian media and all of them are framing it, it's wrong. The way they're framing it is wrong. It is not British investment, no. Mbano, it's not. So what it means in practice is that the British companies win the contract to do the port work. British banks will now provide the loans, and the Nigerian government, using Nigerian taxpayers' money, will repay those loans to British financial institutions with interest over a period of years. Now, where are you coming in? You, Biafrans, will be the one to pay this money. That's it. So when the Nigerian government says Britain is investing £746 million in Nigerian port, I just want to correct that statement that Britain is lending Nigeria money so that Nigeria can pay British companies to refurbish Nigerian ports. That is what is happening. So Nigerian get the refurbished port, Britain gets the contract, the interest payment, and the loan repayment. So who carries the risk now? It is Nigeria. Who is building the port? It is British firm that will build the port. Who is paying for it over the next decade? You, Biafrans. Because you are the one that is using the Nigerian port. You see the reason why Tinubu had to give you washing machine, gave you laptop, gave you a deep freezer to do what? To continue to generate revenue for them because Biafrans are Jackie in Nigeria. Biafrans are the oxygen that Nigeria is breathing while the Yorubas are there collecting rice. The northern part are there collecting rice and money. Yorubas are collecting rice, indomie, everything, milk, spaghetti. He has given you tools to work like Jackie, continue to generate revenue for them. So you are the one that will pay back this loan because you are stupid. You don't want to invest in your freedom. Yes, hey, that is what is happening. So if I ask, is a loan automatically bad? The answer is no. Infrastructure needs financing. Ports create, economic activity. But the framing now, which is the trophy, the historic achievement, the celebration, that framing is built on a lie. This is not a gift from Britain as the Nigerian government is displaying it out there. It is a debt that will be repaid by ordinary Biafran people who are importing goods. Because Fulani is not importing anything. Yorubas are not importing anything. So it is you and me, the Biafran people, that will pay back this loan. So I need every Biafran on this space to really know here what I am about to say, because the port deals reveals everything about this Nigerian government that goes far beyond a financing structure. It reveals a deliberate pattern of economic marginalization. That is one of the core reasons why we must leave Nigeria and have our nation. So I want you to also, look at a map of Nigerian ports, because you need to understand Nigeria has multiple functioning or even potentially functioning seaports. We have Port Harcourt in our region. We have One Port in Rivers State, 19 kilometers from Port Harcourt. We have Calabar Port in Cross River State, the oldest seaport in Nigeria. We have Warri Port, still in Biafra land. These are real ports. All these ports have infrastructure. They have coastline. They have the natural geography for world-class maritime trade. And yet, right now in 2026, out of Biafran's, let me say, Nigeria's 6 major port complexes, only Apapa, Tin Can Island are functional. And I think at times they used to add the new Lekki Deep Sea Port. All 3 are in Lagos. And Lagos is getting a 4th one, another port in Badagry. Is in development right now as I speak. So you could see in Lagos 3 functional seaports with 4th being built. What happened to Port Harcourt? They have declared it unsafe. What happened to Calabar? They said, oh, dredging will cost 50 billion naira. And the government declared the project uneconomical, and they rejected to do it. The same government that found 746 million to refurbish Lagos Port decided that 50 billion naira to dredge Calabar Port was uneconomical. What of One Port? Privately owned, largely sidelined from federal investment, despite being designated as an oil and gas free zone, and already serving as a hub for oil operations across West and Central Africa. What of Warri Port? Is deteriorating every day. You see what is happening? Let our people wake up. You are the ones that will pay this loan. It's going to come with interest. 746 million pounds. We don't know what the interest will be. How can Lagos have 3 functional seaports with a 4th one in the works and every other place is languishing? Dave Omayi is there as Minister of Works or whatever they call him. An academician journal, the Journal of the Kenya National Commission for UNESCO, published a study on this exact issue. And the researchers found that influential entrepreneurs and political figures in the Biafra territory, due to their interest in Lagos Seaport, are not in support of seaport decentralization policy, with fears that such action would result in the collapse of their shipping investment in southeastern Nigeria, which is true. So in a plain language, powerful Lagos-based business and political interests are actively lobbying against port development in Biafra land, because functioning seaport would reduce the monopoly that Lagos Port currently holds over Nigerian maritime trade. That is what is playing out today. So every Biafra importer. Every business person in Onitsha, in Abao, wherever you are in Biafra land, who brings in goods from overseas must route those goods through Lagos. You have to pay Lagos clearing agent. You have to pay for transportation on the Lagos Eastern Road as well. A journey that can take days because of the distance and the notorious condition of that highway and kidnapping as well. You are not even sure of receiving your goods. But if we have our nation, do we stand the risk of all this? The answer is no. But you don't want to fund your freedom. When they bring your goods, they have to pass through illegal checkpoints. When Nigerian military, all those days will come out, as soon as they know that container is entering our route, they must come out to seize it. Every one of which extract unofficial payments from you, the DSS, the police, the custom, the civil defense, all of them must extort money from you. So by the time those goods now reach our region, Biafra land, their prices has been inflated by logistic cost, by extortion, and even as well as delay. Costs that are not borne by a Lagos importer who clears goods 10 kilometers from the port. And then those same Biafran importers, they pay tax to the federal government. The federal government tax that go into the federal account. And from the federal account, where do you think the money is going? The Nigerian government takes a decision to put 746 million pounds worth of infrastructure financing into Lagos port. So the Biafran importer pays the tax. Those taxes contribute to Nigeria's ability to service that international loan that they have signed for, just because you don't want to support your freedom. So Lagos is the one benefiting. And Aonyendu called this economic strangulation. And he was right when he called it. It is documented there. It is in academic journal as well. And it is acknowledged by independent economists. And this week at Windsor Castle, the terrorist Nigerian president and the King of England celebrated the deepening of a financial arrangement that will continue to, that strangulation for the duration of the loan repayment. And I also want us to understand something. We forget easily that during that Nigerian civil war that ended in 1970, I'm not sure it is still ongoing, it has not ended. The federal government, the terrorist government Nigeria, enforced a blockade on us Biafrans. Part of that blockade was economic, cutting off our access to port and trade routes to economically strangle the secessionist territory into surrender. And we had to let it go because once they blocked, there was that blockade. What did you think people would do? We had to surrender. More than 5 million people died. And they died mostly from starvation and disease during that blockade. And in 2026, the tools are different. Right now, as we speak, there is no military blockade. Instead, there is this systematic underdevelopment of our region ports. While Lagos receives international financing, there is the rejection of Calabar port, dredging as uneconomical. That is what they quoted. While Lagos gets its fourth port, so there is a slow decommissioning of Rivers port as I speak, while Apapa port gets 746 million pounds. So the blockade of 1967 to 1970 used gunboats. The blockade of 2026 uses Nigerian Port Authority policy and UK Export Finance Agreement. That is the difference. But is there blockade? The answer is yes. And the same time colonial power that supplied weapons to the Nigerian terrorist government during that war, this same Britain, which allowed the supply of arms to the federal side while we were starved, is now signing the financing agreement for the next phase of Lagos port dominance at Windsor Castle with a state banquet, calling it a partnership of equals. So this is why Biafra must be free, not just because of ideology, but because of economics, because of documented research, public evidence that the Nigerian terrorist government infrastructure policy systematically directs resources to the southwest, to the northern states, while our region, Biafra, is suppressed. And because as long as we Biafrans are in Nigeria, paying taxes into a federation that builds Lagos while Calabar rots, that economic strangulation will have to continue. And it continues with British financing. You know, some of you here may say, oh, but One port is in River State, not Southeast. Why are you calling it Biafra? Yes, the Biafran territory, I want to remind you, includes Old River State, Old Delta State, Old Cross River State, Old Anambra. In fact, go and look at the map of Biafra and see things for yourself. Don't let me come here and be teaching you what is in the public domain. All these regions are in Biafra territory. It is there in our map. We have 40 states of Biafra. Go and look at it. So the Nigerian administrative boundary placing River State outside our region is itself a product of the deliberate fragmentation of our territory through state creation after the Civil War. Another tool of political and economic control. So go there and see that all the places I've mentioned, they are in Biafra territory and nothing can remove them from that place. I don't know if anyone have anything to say to this first agreement before we go to the second one. Did you hear me? Hello?
Yes, yes, yes. We heard you, tutors. We heard you. We heard everything you said. Yeah. Yeah, Mazi Onyenyere, do you have anything to contribute regarding what tutors just, uh, said on the space?
Okay, thank you very much. Our sister, wonderful tutor herself. Thank you for for hosting us. And Toti, good evening from my end. Good evening to all Biafrans all over the world, depending where you are joining us, where you are watching from. You see, just like what tutor has been enumerating, explaining, most of the times I feel just very weak to talk, because when I begin to reason the way our people, how gullible some of our people can be, oh, it really marvels me, because I can't understand why up till now some of our people did not know that Nigeria is not made for them. Nigeria is not for them. In our land, we don't have any seaport, like Tutor have explained it. We don't have any embassy, as if we are. I can't. Oh God, you see, if you are a Biafra and you are hearing us and you refuse to do something, but what marvels me is how gullible some of our Biafrans can be. Some of our brothers, our Biafrans, believe that it is only just to talk. That is only what can give us Biafra. Like people that call themselves IPOB Nigeria, if you come to protest, that is where you will see them. That is where you will know that. So these people are still existing. Like I saw they protested in London or in UK. I say, so these people exist. These people exist, and these people still need Biafra, and yet they are sleeping. They are not doing anything. If what Nigeria is doing to us, if what we are seeing in Nigeria is not getting you annoyed, is not making you to to be very, very angry about Nigeria. And that angriness is what is going to make you to do something and to fight for this freedom. Now, all of us have seen how Nigeria bring their terrorists in uniform to our land. Why Plateau is bleeding, why Benue is bleeding, why Para is bleeding, why all the northern states are bleeding, but there is no military anywhere. But some of our people will be supporting these people. Some of our people, because of money, will be the one heading or leading the way, the road with these people. Like I saw one useless old man. It pains me when I see this man talking. And the spirit of Biafra wanted to break him, fall him down on his chair. A useless man that says that if the woman that is selling akara uses or have any paper that has NNAMDI Kanu, that they will pour her a hot oil. For you to see how hatred these people hate their own people. These people are not Biafrans. This set of people, I don't know where these people come from. I don't know who bring these people in our land to make, just to punish us. Somebody like Ijele. Somebody like Ikenguragu. I don't know what happens to our people. Sometimes when I begin to think all these things, I will say, God, did you just want to punish us, or what is this? So, Biafrans, the time is now. The time is now. The time is now. We need to support handling or crushing these people. We may not be heading anywhere. So I just want to encourage devil to be there. Make sure you come. Any amount you give, no amount is too small, no amount is too big. You must come there and answer your name and allow history to bear you witness that in this cause of freedom, that you were among those that participated. Thank you very much. I yield my mic here.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mazi Onyenyo. Thank you for that heartfelt submission. But the only thing I will want to tell you is that we will never get deterred by the antics of our enemies, trying to discourage us from what we are doing regarding the freedom of over 80 million Biafrans, because what we are doing here is for posterity's sake, and it now depends on some of us out there, some Biafrans out there that are still claiming one Nigeria, or maybe feign ignorance regarding what the Biafran Republic government in exile is doing to, save the Biafran people, most especially Christians from Nigeria. And I believe with time they will come to realize how wrong they have been. But my only worry is that it shouldn't be late for every one of them, because if they keep feigning ignorance and acting stupid regarding their own freedom, and it becomes too late for them, they will still be the people to bear the consequences. So I just want to, use this to encourage every one of us out there. But talking about Biafra, Biafra is already here. So thank you very much, Mazi. Senior citizen Stella, are you there? Mazi Rage, I will come to you later, please.
Yeah,
all right, you can have the.
Thank you. I salute everyone. I salute you, tutors. I salute you, Totivile, NKERE CEO. Rage is also here. Salute you, longest time. Sister Eunice, I salute you, Adri COS. I salute everyone. Good afternoon from here. And, just to follow up where our sister stopped, because I don't want to jump. So Britain is just, doing Biafra whatever they like. They're not even afraid. They're not even remorseful. They don't even care. I mean, Nigeria Islamic terrorist government are massacring Christians and massacring Biafrans. The king don't care. The queen do not care. They are
Senior citizen, are you there? You're muted. Please unmute yourself. We can't hear you. Senior
can
citizen, if you can
somebody
hear,
hear me?
yeah, we can hear you now. We've not been hearing you for like 20 or 25 seconds, so you
Sorry,
can pick it up from there. Yeah.
sorry. I don't even know where I stopped. Anyway, let me start all over. I was saying that Britain don't care. They don't care how many have died. In fact, a nation that could block the entrance of food and millions of children died out of hunger. I don't even know what else. What would be the worst? I mean, what would be worse than what has happened already? They don't have our goodness in heart. They don't care. The king don't care. The queen don't care. You know, the general government, they don't care. You guys can die as much as you care. They don't, as you want. They don't care. So, it turns my stomach. When I look into that, it really turns my stomach. I don't know how one will be working with the devil and expecting the devil to repent, or expecting the devil to have another thought, or expecting the devil to change, or expecting the devil to do something differently better. I don't know how. The only way out and the only way forward to this mayhem we found ourselves in. I mean, we were all born, we woke up. I will never forget what my mother used to say those days. She said, Nyaftowa. Let me say it in Igbo first of all. Nyaftowa. No maka queen no. Nya na kanka queen ka gwikwele gwi. I wanted to tell her, Mama Mwana, queen, I can't Kenyaka, Mama Queen Gazen. Have to wahegui just to be dealing with others. Somebody was saying survival of the fittest. This one is worse than survival of the fittest. This one is demonic. This one is evil. Like, you see how I shaped my evil in the face of men. Then imagine God. You understand? It's just like how people will say, oh, Jihenwata. No, this will Jihenwata. Eh? Oh, Jihenwata will never bring down his hand. He will not be tired of raising his hand. Speaking in parable. He doesn't care. So you can wait till thy kingdom come. Biafrans. Until every day they are using another system and another system. There's no system and gimmicks and there's no system they don't use. You understand? Now, for the first time, I now found that I'm noticing a pattern. Each time they want to brainwash, they want to plot against you, they want to, make you do what you don't really want to do in a normal situation. They will not tell you, okay, you know what? Let the best of the courage, the golden courage, come out. Let it carry you, all your gangs and mafias and everything follow you. Let the royal carriage carry all of you. Is it not the same thing they did to Trump? Trump went back and Chiaha Waka. In fact, that was when the fight between them and them started. America is displacing them financially, but the world is not even discussing that. The only the world is saying is seeing is the Iran war. Okay. But the underground of the Iran war is a real fight between America, Israel, and Britain even. You understand? Because they are the real papa devil behind. They do manipulating the whole world, all manipulating. And they also have a connection with the Iran and the Arab. So they are one and the same. They know what they do. So don't be deceived, though. Then talking about the port, they are establishing a port in the establishing fixing the one. You'll be wondering. You will now know why things are so expensive in Biafra land, ladies and gentlemen. You know, when all the ports in Biafra land is supposed to be working, they purposely close it so that you guys will never lift up your heads. Just like what our sister was saying. They dash orders rice so and money onto you. Slave workers. They dash you sewing machine. They dash you